morning. Today I just wanted to share a little bit of my story because I think it could possibly help some people who are struggling in the same issues, which I know, at least in the United States, drug addiction, particularly opiate addiction, is absolutely rampant. And I'm not here to, really promote like things like ayahuasca and things, because because it's completely different for everybody. But I just would like to at least share my experience, and my experience is just different from everybody else's who participates in ayahuasca. At least I haven't really met a whole lot of people who've had quite the same experience, and there are people, definitely Christians and stuff, who will throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, "Oh, it's all demonic, it's all bad," and that's just absolutely not true. Usually people say that about things that they don't understand, and this stuff, the ayahuasca in particular, just it showed me what baptism was. I just understood what Christ was, and that it was real, and that God was more real than I could ever possibly imagine. But I was trying to seek out that through drugs. Through when I first found drugs, I was trying to find God. I didn't really know it. I was trying to find comfort in my heart, in my soul, in my body. And I remember when I first started really taking drugs in high school. Pot obviously is where most people start usually. I've met some people who've just jumped right to heroin, but that's rare. But I started taking pills. I think I found some pills, and I like a Valium, and I took it, and for like the first time, I felt totally comfortable. I was just felt like, okay. I didn't really know that was going to be the beginning of a 10-year long cycle, but so I started seeking out pills, and then I think one of my buddies gave me some Vicodins once, and I didn't really feel it, and then it did, and then I finally did, then it did start working, and then I think when I was in high school, I started dealing with cocaine and selling cocaine, and got into that for a while, but mostly it was just the pills, like the Oxycontins, and that really just worked for me. A lot of people say drugs didn't work. Well, they work they're in a way, they're like your medicine for a time. Maybe they keep you from suicide or from a worse depression or other things that can manifest. And so anyway, I won't go too long into that right now. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about how I came to Christ through ayahuasca, but it was a long journey. I could literally go on for hours, as most recovering drug addicts can go on for hours about their experiences and stuff. I don't want to glorify it either, because it's not something to glorify at all. But anyway, dabble with pills, sold pills, was in that lifestyle for many years as a young man, ages out of high school, just really went for it, and with little, probably little breaks here and there, was always able to have a job and, things like that usually, and alcohol, of course, was involved. Getting in a lot of trouble from drinking, and I would just get so angry, when I would drink alcohol, just like a demon was in me, and I would just lose it, black out, and stuff like that. So, very bad, very negative things going on. So anyway, and then years go by, I start really getting into the pills, and then I was starting to get curious out of heroin. due to like some musicians, like Dr. John. He's an old Cajun musician from New Orleans, and when I read about him being addicted to heroin, I was just kind of fascinated with the whole lifestyle, and like, almost thinking, oh, maybe you got to do that to become a good musician, whatever. I mean, obviously there was other issues going on, so that wasn't the main reason, but I was seeking it out, and then started smoking it, found a connection, started smoking it, and for a while. Then I moved up to Portland, Oregon from San Diego, and Portland, I kind of moved up there to try to get clean, and that was really the worst place you could move to. It's like one of the, heroin capitals of the world, kind of. It's just a depressing place, and so I fell into it more, started shooting it up, things like that. That only lasted a 4 months, kind of freaked me out. Oh shit! I told my brother, luckily, said, hey, I'm addicted to heroin. I don't know, I need help, and that was a good thing. And I went to like a regular rehab for 30 days where they had AA and NA, and that worked for a while. Kind of fell in love with this. Well, they whenever you get clean and you fall in love with somebody, you got to be very careful, because that obviously, she ended up falling back, and I stayed clean for 9 months, and then it was good, but at least I was able to sort of find something, but the AA and the NA just didn't, something kind of felt really weird about it, personally. Like, they were, like, oh, it's okay if you worship a doorknob as your higher power. The more I looked into it, there's some like weird Aleister Crowley type of stuff in there. Really, like there's some weird esoteric thing with the AA that they don't really tell you. It's not even really just Christian. There's something else going on there. I believe, and I think it keeps people sort of at a certain. I don't know. It's a little culty in a way, and this might offend people. I don't know, but whoever's watching this, hopefully you were like me and you were seeking something more. It wasn't quite enough for you. So started drinking at first, and then got in a big car wreck and fight with the police and jail and stuff. So so I was in Portland for another couple years, back in the drugs. Just really, it was getting bad because I didn't really find. I just was sort of like getting really desperate with it. I didn't really see any way out at that time. But I remembered Ibogaine. Ibogaine was from something I'd seen on Vice. I'd seen these guys do this crazy ritual, and I had never done any type of ceremony or anything like that yet. So luckily I was able to go down there. My family was able to help me to do that, which was big. And so I flew down to Mexico City, and went up into the mountains and met with the nurse lady who. The thing is, Ibogaine, do not just take it. Okay, it can kill you because it's so powerful. So you have to be very careful with it, or it's just you want to take it with a professional. So I'm not here. Do a lot of research, please, and find out if it resonates with you, because it's not a joke. It comes from West Africa. It's stronger than ayahuasca. It comes from the Bwiti tribe, which are a tribe in Gabon, West Africa, who they are Christians as well, and but they're also, they do one of the most powerful hallucinogenics in the world. So that's just another interesting part of it. And it lasts forever. It lasts like 17 hours, something like that. I mean, I had insomnia for a week, but that was part of the withdrawal process as well. But it did take away, a lot of you wake up the next day, you don't have that type of depression, and that, when you're, those who've gone through withdrawal know what I'm talking about. So, so I did that. I was there for about 9 days. Then I went into an Ibogaine aftercare clinic deeper into the mountains, and that was for about 2 months. And learned yoga, things like that. That was a whole new world for me. All that stuff. I don't really do yoga anymore for other reasons, but yeah, I mean, at the time, there's some positive aspects to all that, and then eating good, and then we started doing ayahuasca, and I'd always, I'd seen it in documentaries and stuff, and I thought, oh, okay, that'll probably help, be good, whatever. I didn't realize it was going to have as much of a good impact as it did for me. And when I first tried it, I was, everybody's kind of nervous before you do it because you think, oh, you're going to go through all this deep stuff, and a lot of people do, but for me, it was just like ecstasy. It was pure ecstasy. It was just better than the drug, and it was just, but it was natural, and it felt like I just felt, oh, okay, there's a, it just started to feel like heaven on earth. And the more I did it, I did it a couple more times with this certain facilitator, and then a man from Colombia who I still work with. His name is Taita Juan, and he's a powerful medicine man. I don't really like the word shaman because it's just so everybody, it's a weird word now. Everybody just uses the word shaman like it's, if you had a rattle, oh, you must be a shaman, or people who are definitely not qualified or calling themselves that. It just rubs me the wrong way. So I call him, Taita, which is kind of like father, sort of, in Colombia. And, so he came up with this stuff called yahe, which is brewed a little bit thicker and a little differently, and it just lasts, it's very strong. And, so when I first drank with him, I felt like, I drank a big cup, and then I was in this just heaven realm, but it was too intense for a human who's never been there, it was just like pure expression, pure creative expression, just beyond, like very, I was in a very high up there place, and just like instantly, just like, okay, and it was kind of too intense, so, but I was sitting up straight, I tend to sit up straight at the chair. And then I was like, okay, it's too intense, and I laid back down, kind of laid down like this, and then all of a sudden, it was just quite lower. Like I could feel everybody in the room sort of lower things, lower negative stuff, kind of, I wouldn't say hell, but definitely like you could tell this was the lower realms here. And then so I don't need to be in any of these places right now. Went outside, and I remember seeing plants for the first time, like actually alive and communicating, and just like, these plants actually had their own personality. And I'm sure those who work in gardens and stuff know that, but it was, for me, growing up in the U.S. where you're not really, or at least, for me, it didn't grow up like that, thinking that these things were alive. You just don't really think that. So it was amazing. And then I saw this one plant with these like kind of two fairies or whatever hanging out there, something like that. And they say, hey, come over here. And I came over there, and then I purged. And I know there's a lot of people who, whether it's good or not, I struggle with whether the purge is good. For me, it was very good, because it was just like I was letting go of, felt like just what it felt like. It felt like a millennia of energy. It was just letting go, and I was just on the ground shaking, and it felt like an earthquake happened. But it just was like better than any type of release you could ever have, ever. Yeah, it was just it was amazing. So. And then I came back, and I just felt great. Felt like just this burden, this thing I've been carrying around for so long was released, and that was really big. And then what happened too was everything that my dad used to read the Bible to us as a kid. Everything came back. All these stories, all that stuff came back so strong, and it was just, it felt really good. It felt good, to, understanding the relationship between a father and his son, and how that's very, or daughter, just children and their parents, and how that's a similar relationship between God and us, as humans too. It's like there is like microcosms in our regular relationships that are representative of what's in the spiritual, and then the second ceremony, I had this Lion King T-shirt on, and I another big cup, and I had my hands turned into paws. I started feeling this energy, just super, like I could, I don't know, I could go to war or something, or like go hunting. It was just this primal energy I just never felt before, because kind of nowadays as a man in Western world, you're not really supposed to feel that, or definitely whatever's in the food and the water and everything. It's a whole nother thing that pisses me off, but they want to keep that away from you, definitely. So I was able to feel that, and it felt so natural, felt so good, and my hands turned into paws, and I went outside. It was just like the Lion King when he's sitting out there in this starry night out, and he's sitting in the savannah, and it just, everything felt perfect. It was just like that, and I just, whoa, I just felt this roar come out. I felt like it just shot around the world, and it was just so, it was just so beautiful. So, and then I kind of was so hypersensitive at some point where they had to lay me down on the ground, and I felt like I was just becoming everything, like I could, I could feel like the pain of the lions, who were in cages. I could feel the pain of this world, the children of the world, and like everything, and I wanted to stop it, so bad. I felt so strong I could fight the devil, or something. It was just, it felt that I was ready for anything. And oh yeah, there were also times where, I'm not going to get into everything. Some things I think better not be said, really, because these are pretty special ceremonies, but I've experienced so much that I feel like at this point it's okay to share some of it on here, but I won't share everything though. But it just, and then getting to the point, about how I found Christ, and this was actually kind of more later too. It all of this made me realize the point of living a clean life. And I think that's why a lot of people are nervous before they drink ayahuasca, because they know that they've done some things that they're going to have to face and stuff. And it's better to do it now before you die. You don't want to get to the end of your life and, oh shoot, I wish I thought about this a little more, and because you can start living it now. You can start living a clean, heavenly-like life on earth now, and this is actually the most amazing time to do it, because it's so difficult. And if you can rise above it, it can just really be leaders, men and women of this world, and good fathers and mothers. So, and that's very important, that we do that right now, because I do believe things are definitely going to be changing spiritually, and I think the powers, there's going to be some changes here. So that's why we need to be living clean, so we're ready and prepared. It's difficult, I know, but it can be done. I'm proof of that. Not that I'm perfect, but the fact that not that long ago was really, really bad. Shooting heroin on the streets and just should have been dead. Fentanyl too, by the way. That stuff is just horrible. And so, and then I would have visions where I'd see water, and I understood the point of baptism. So see, for me, like, why I didn't, church and stuff, I just thought it was sort of a joke when I was younger, and I still do. It's kind of why I'm starting sort of my own church on YouTube here, because all the good preachers are dead now, and it's sad what's happened. It's become absolutely despicable, and it's disgusting what's going on with the churches and Christianity and everything. So I think they're anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But I remember seeing the water, the point of being baptized in water, because I could actually see water, and I just got it. I don't know how and why, but I feel like it's almost more powerful, because I was pretty kind of like an atheist or a nihilist before that. Before I was definitely dabbling in all that, and definitely in the New Age and stuff, and that's taken a few years to sort of, not that everything's bad in it, but there's some dangers in it. What I see happening with the New Age, I was up in Northern California last Halloween, and what seemed like it was going to be this sort of innocent night, turned into a very weird mock ritual sacrifice, weird ritual thing from these people, and it seemed like, I guess they weren't really saying they were Satanists, but I could just tell where some of this New Age stuff was going, and where you see it in Madame Blavatsky's teachings, and Lucius Trust, and the United Nations, and how they want to bring everybody together under this one umbrella. It's just something to be very, very careful about right now. And I've sort of fallen into, I fell into aliens, I've been through it all. So really, it's all, but I believe now we're living in a very much more simple world, and they've made it complicated, and our God lives up there, and he's watching out over us, and he loves us, and so I think I'm just trying to get back to that. And I also understood, because of the ayahuasca and stuff, that I could see the visions of Jesus being crucified and actually taking upon that burden, kind of, and that tied in with the ayahuasca, when you purge and you kind of release your sins or whatever, you're kind of, like, I could see that happening on the cross. I could understand it spiritually, and why that had such a powerful effect in the spirit realm, and why when I would have weird alien abductions or demonic attacks and stuff, and I could have enough composure to call on Jesus Christ, and it would stop. And you look that up on YouTube, and Google, and other stories about that. There's a lot of people who've had the same experience, and when they call upon that name just has authority, and that's incredible to me. That really means something. And for those, I'm just trying to get across to people who are kind of on the fence, because I was there for so long, and I had to actually feel it. I was so hard-headed that I actually had to feel it and see it and experience it, and in order to believe it. Okay, so I'm just here to, hopefully you don't have to go through what I've been through. I really, really hope you don't. I realized it was all necessary now, so that I can get to this point where I am now. And I know that I just kind of gone a lot of different places, but I'm just sort of speaking, I'm just speaking right now. So that might be a good place to end. Let's see what time we're at. 20, yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah, so if you guys like this or not, just let me know. I'll keep doing more stuff like this. I hope this, I didn't write it, I didn't make it this structured, okay? So I would like to, in the future, I will make some more structured videos, but hopefully, it's good for me to share this, and hopefully it's good for some of you to receive and hear some of this, and I don't want to come across as confusing or anything like that. I'm just simply sharing my story, because I know there's Christians and stuff out there who I respect, and who absolutely deny all this stuff, right? It's all from the dead, and I can absolutely see in ayahuasca. I've seen the devil. I've seen it. I get it. It's a tempting thing, but I think maybe it's not for everybody. I think people can get under some weird mind control spells from after doing ayahuasca. Ayahuasca, it's like a neutral. Okay, it's there to help you, but it's up to you that you don't give it too much power either. That you don't start, it's like nature worship starts. People start worshiping the earth and all that stuff. It's definitely respect it, respect the earth and everything, and love it, right? But don't start worshiping it, because there's hidden things in there like pan worship, which is ultimately leads to human sacrifice. Okay, so that's why I'm trying to warn this stuff. It's not a joke, and a lot of these things get manipulated and screwed up. So I'm not saying it's all bad and to disrespect earth and all that stuff and the new age, but I'm just saying that you need to take heed and be careful and really pray and question what you're putting your own beliefs into. Okay, so the ayahuasca, to me, it's like a neutral thing, and it kind of depends on where you're at, because you can experience God and Jesus on ayahuasca, and it's I can't even explain how beautiful it is. It's like returning home, and I feel fortunate to be able to use that medicine to have experienced that with otherwise might have been difficult, definitely the ancients and stuff. Some people say in the Bible they've used the burning bush might have been DMT. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, but there's definitely when you do that medicine, you can definitely see that there's how a lot of these conclusions came to, through the Bible and things like that. Definitely the Book of Revelation is very psychedelic. Okay, and you start to see it, and then you have dreams about it and stuff, and you realize it's just true. It's prophecy. So anyway, blessings to you guys. You have a good day. Hope somebody got something out of this. Okay.